Welcome to St. Joseph Academy YouTube channel. I am Abhilash K. Thomas. This video is specially prepared for Geography subject of Class 7. Here are some instructions for students. This PowerPoint is made based on the textbook published by Bharati Bhavan Publishers and Distributors. The textbook name is Essential ICSE Geography for Class 7. This video is just help the students to understand the topics. At the end of every section, there is a worksheet for students to practice. Go through that and note it in your copy. As we all know, representation of the geographical features, the first chapter of your textbook is divided into 4 parts. First 2 parts we discussed with the help of 2 videos that we already uploaded. And in this third video, we are going to include 2 parts that are part 3 and part 4 altogether. And the major topics which you are going to cover in this video: direction, grid, eastings and northing, grid reference, colors, convention symbols. Also, we combined some points to remember and exercises. So keep watch. Once again, I am reminding you the topics which we are going to cover in this video. Part 3, direction, grid, eastings and northing, grid reference, as part 4, colors, conventional symbols. First, we are going to look at the part 3. Under part 3, first topic is directions. In a map, you will see a vertical line whose uppermost point has an arrow marked with the letter N. Like this, it is circled in the right side map. This line is the north line. This line is called the north line, and it shows the north direction. The arrow is towards the top, and it is marked with N. So the upper part of the map is north. Once you know the north with the help of the north line, this is the north side. If you find the north, then it make you too easy to calculate the east direction and west direction, south, along with the intermediate directions, northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast. Some maps have a compass rose which shows the major directions as well as the intermediate direction. In some maps you will find this kind of picture that we can see right now on the right side of the screen. The picture marked with NESW, and this is a major direction: north, south, west and east. In between you will find a grey color hands that are the intermediate direction: northwest, southwest, northeast, southeast. Okay, so in some maps this kind of picture will help you to find the direction of the place. But maps have neither this north direction or the north line or this compass. Suppose one map not having both these things. In such maps, the upper part is considered as the north direction. Then if you find the upper part, you can find the east direction, you can find the west direction, south and intermediate directions very easily. Under part 3, next main topic which we are going to discuss, that is grid. To help to locate feature on a map, we are taking the help of grid. A grid is a net of line that forms cells. Like in a graph paper, it has horizontal and vertical lines. These lines are intersecting and forming small square boxes. That boxes are called cells. Features on the map can be located by knowing the cell in which it lies. For example, look at the below picture. Here you can see vertical lines and horizontal lines which are intersecting and forming a small square boxes. And if you know the name of the box or cell, we can identify the features in a particular place. So the map that you find below is from a atlas. This kind of map you can see in the atlas only, which covers several latitudes and longitudes. And the map itself is covering a huge area. So it will have more latitudes and longitudes. In such map, the grid is usually formed with the help of meridians and parallels, or the latitudes and the longitudes. In other words, we can say that vertical and horizontal lines. One more picture we will look at. In this map also you will find the vertical lines and horizontal lines which form small boxes, that is called grid. For identifying grid, each line have a number. With the help of that number we are identifying the cell name. And if you identify the cell name, you can easily identify the features of the land or a particular area we can identify with the help of the cell name. It is in the case of big atlas kind of things having this kind of maps. What about a topographic map? Topographic maps cover much smaller area. Most of them cover less than 1 degree of latitude and longitude. Like the picture you can see on the right side, it will not covering not more than 1 degree of latitude or longitude. In this map, there are not enough meridians or parallels. You already see that. To form a grid, to form a cell or form a grid, it will not having enough meridians or parallels. In other words, latitudes or longitudes, horizontal, vertical lines. So, vertical north-south and horizontal east to west lines are drawn to form the grid. That in between the square box you will find the gray color lines. Okay, actually in maps it will show with the help of a red color, but here for understanding we kept a gray color, and each is known by the 2-digit number. On the sideways you will find the each gray color line having a 2-digit number name. So each line named with that 2-digit number, which will help to identify the particular cell, particular lines. The lines will form the cell. It will help you to give a name to particular cell that we will study later. So generally in topographic map there is not enough meridians or parallels to form a grid. So we will draw vertical lines and horizontal lines, equal lines in the map, and we will give number to each line, and with the help of that lines we will identify, locate features in a map. To identifying features, we know that there is a vertical and horizontal lines in the map which forms the grid. So each line having number, that is the name of particular line. So next major topic which we are going to discuss is eastings and northings. And in a map, bottom left corner, which is circled there in the picture on the right side, is taken as the starting point of numbering the grid lines. You can see towards the east side 40, 41, 42, 43. The starting point is the southwestern corner. That means bottom left corner is taken as the starting point. From there the counting increasing towards the east and towards the north. So you have to keep it in mind. Southwestern corner, that means on the bottom left corner, is taking as the starting point of numbering the lines. The vertical lines are drawn east of this point and are called eastings. From the bottom left corner towards the east, the vertical lines which is drawn are called eastings. The red color ones you might find in the right side map are called eastings. The horizontal lines are drawn north of this point are called northing. You might see the blue color line. Towards the north side, the number of the line increasing 28, 29, 30. These are the blue color line number. Okay, these lines are called northings. The number given to the eastings increases eastward, that you already find 40, 41, 42, 43. Eastward it is increasing, and the numbers given to the northings increases northwards. Eastings number increasing towards the eastward 40, 41, 42, 43, and northings number increasing towards the northwards 28, 29, 30. Okay, so just see the picture. Once again we will rewind all those things. The lines which we are find in red are the eastings, and the lines which you are find in blue are the northings. Bottom left corner, south western corner is taken as the starting point of the numbering. So northwards the number increasing, that is called northing. Eastwards that number increasing, that is called eastings. In this above picture, the line numbered 40, 41, 42, 43 are eastings, and the number 28, 29, 30 are northings. We already studied about grid. Next main subtopic which we are going to study, that is grid reference. In other words, we can say that name, cell name. Okay, so in a grid, the name of the cell comes from the line that form it southwestern corner. It consists of 4 digits. The 4-figure grid reference of all the features shows within the cell. For example, in the right side picture, the line numbered 41 and 28 form the southwestern corner of the cell X. On the right side you will find a picture, and in that one cell is marked with the pink color and put X symbol in it, that is cell X, and the south side of the cell western corner, means the south western corner we are taking, south side, left side corner we will take. For giving number or name to this cell, we will take the Easting number forming the left side of the cell, that is 41, and also we will take the Northing number which is forming the bottom of the line which is going at the bottom of the cell, that is 28. To give the name to the particular cell, first we will take number from the Easting, then we will take the number from the Northing. So put the numbers together, means what are the lines which are intersecting at the south western corner of the cell. Once again, the lines which are intersecting at the south western corner of the particular cell. With the help of the intersecting line number, we are giving name to the particular cell. For example, in that particular cell X, which is marked pink color and an X on it, bottom line, that is Northing, and left side line, that is Easting, we are taking the number of the lines 41 and 28, Easting 41 and Northing 28, which is intersecting. These two lines are intersecting at the south western corner of the cell. So with the help of these numbers, we can give the name to that particular cell, that is 4128. The cell name is 4128. Please keep it in mind, for giving number or name to a cell, first we have to take the number of the Easting, then you have to put the number of the Northing. Together will form the name of a cell or number of a cell. With the help of the cell number, we can identify all the features in that particular place. Suppose you will find two buildings and one tree in that particular area, which is marked by the cell number or cell name, that is 4128. Suppose in a map, somebody asking you to find the grid reference of a particular area having one tree and two houses. So you can easily find the cell number with the help of the Eastings and Northing line numbers. Okay, I think you might understand these things. Once again, I am reminding you, while making or giving name to a particular cell, you have to first keep the number of the Easting, then you have to give the number of the Northing, that is intersecting on the south western corner of the cell or bottom left corner of the cell. Now we came to the part 4 of this video. In this part 4, we have made mainly going to discuss about the colors and conventional symbols. Under part 4, main topic which we are going to discuss is colors. Colors are used in a map to show different types of features. Different kind of maps are there, and each maps having different kinds of color patterns. Suppose in the case of a political map, different colors are used to show different countries or the state within a country. Suppose on the right side you just see the map which is showing having different colors which are used to show different countries in the map. And in the same map you can see the blue color which is used to show the water body. And you can see the red and black color, and the red color is used to show the capital cities, and the black color is used to write the name of the particular cities. So blue color is used to show a water body, and red and black is used to show the state, city and the name of it, all those things. And this is the main colors which is used in a political map. But in the case of physical map, like you can see on the right side, you can see the Indian physical map. Some shades are used to show the height variation of the land. For this we are taking a simple color. A darker shade of the color, that means the height in that particular area is very high. Light shades shows the lower height, and darker shades shows the greater heights. In multi-color maps, suppose in a map which shows only one color or a simple color, then the darker shades shows the high range and the light shades shows the lower range of land. And multicolor maps which have one map having more than one color, then those maps, different colors are used to show different heights. Suppose in the right side map it's a multicolor, you can see different colors. So in this map you will find green color is used to show the plains and the lowlands. Brown color is used to show the highlands. Darker brown and purple color is used to show the greater heights. You just look at the dark brown color at the Himalayan side. So there is the highest peaks. So that area is marked with the dark brown color. And the blue color is used to show the water bodies. You can see the rivers are marked with the blue and oceans are marked with the blue, all those things. Then darker shades of blue is used to show the depth of the water body. If there is a dark blue color, that means that area having the deepest part of the water body. Then the white part, just look at the northern side of the Indian map, northmost area of the Indian map, which is marked with the white. That means that the area is having a snow-capped region, means snow-covered area, which is marked with the white. In Indian map, we look at only the Indian side. Okay, the neighboring countries also marked with the white. We are not considering that. In Indian boundary, within the Indian boundary, wherever you are finding the white color marks except the roads. Okay, uh, shades of the white you will find that area is snow capped region. This is how the colors are used in a physical map. Now we saw that what are the colors used in a political map and what are the colors used in a physical map. In a topographic map, every feature is shown in a particular color. On the right side, you can find a topographic map. In that map itself, you can find different colors. Okay, some of the major colors which are used in a topographic map, we are going to look at those colors. First one is red color. Red color is used to show grid lines, grid line number, types of roads and buildings, etc. The next major color which is used in this map is green color. That is used for showing the forested areas. Wherever the forest and greenery, there we can see the green color. And the next color is yellow color, which is used to show cultivated lands. That means wherever the farming is going on, those areas are marked with the help of the yellow color. The next color is white. White color is used to show uncultivated lands, the lands which are not used for cultivation or farming. Those areas are marked with the help of a white color. Then blue color. As we all studied in the earlier slides, the color which is used in a physical and political map, that is one common color, that is blue. Blue color is commonly used for water bodies, to mention the water bodies, but in topographic map there is one speciality. Blue color is used for water bodies which contains water. That is the importance of blue color in topographic map. If the water body is dried up, that means the water body doesn't have water in it, then that kind of water body is marked with the help of a black color. And also the black color is used for writing and boundaries, railway tracks, telephone and telegraph lines, and line of latitude and longitude, if any, also are marked with the black color. So brown lines are used to show counters. In this map it is not mentioned, counters are not mentioned, but in some maps you will find counters which are used to show the height difference. The same height level area above the sea level, the same height area is used to show with the help of a counters. For that, counter lines are used to show the same height area above the sea level. And to mention or to draw that kind of counter line, we used brown lines. So these are the colors which is used in a topographic map. Next topic which we are going to discuss about conventional symbols. We do not show the actual shape and the size of a tree, building, village, etc. in a map because of the limited space. In a map, which we are not able to do is to draw a tree. It is not possible in a map. To draw the real image of the building, it's not possible to draw in a map. Instead of that, we will put some symbols. We show the features with the help of various agreed symbols. The symbols are called conventional symbols. Suppose you are showing one picture, one small square box for representing a building, and the one who is going to look at the map, they also wants to know that this symbol is used for this particular building. So that's why it's saying that the symbol which you are going to going to draw in a map, that should be agreed everywhere. So once again we will revise the thing. We are not going to draw the actual size of the tree, building, village, etc. in a map because of the space limit of the map. And instead of that, we are going to draw symbols which is agreed all over the world. Those symbols are called conventional symbols. So in a map, on the side bys you will see all the symbols which is used in the map and along with the meaning of the symbol. So the list of the icons or the symbols, conventional symbols, and its meaning. Once again, the conventional symbols, list of conventional symbols and its meaning mentioned in the map. That list is called a key of the map. On the right side you might see several symbols, and what is that symbol meant for, that is also mentioned in that. That kind of list is called a key. So usually in every map, what all the symbols are used in that map and the meaning of the symbol which is also listed, that list is presented in every map. That list we can say key. Now usually every map it will be appear on the either sides of the map or any side of the map or below bottom line of the map you will find, or the left or side, right side of the map you will find this kind of key. With the help of the key you can easily understand the symbols and its meaning. So here we are going to conclude this session. In this video we have two parts, that are the third part and the fourth part. In the third part we studied about some topics including the grid and the direction. Under the grid you will find two subtopics, that are eastings and northings and grid reference. Fourth part you will see the topics like color, what are the colors used in map, and the topic conventional symbols. So here in the end point of this particular video, some points to remember I am going to give you, that is grid. What is the definition of the grid? That is given here. The grid network of vertical and horizontal lines are called grid. In a map, a network of vertical and horizontal line is called grid. And what is easting? That is also mentioned here. Eastings vertical, that means north-south line drawn on a topographic map, which is called eastings. What is northing? Horizontal, that means east-west line drawn on a topographic map, which is called northings. Some question answers also mentioned over here. Go through these question answers and points to remember, and the exercise which all follows, like fill in the blanks. Here 6 fill in the blanks you can find. The fill in the blanks which I written here is from the textbook itself. To fill these blanks you have to watch the video very carefully. Here are some choose the correct answer. To find the correct answer for these questions you have to watch the video very carefully. So go through this exercise, note it down in your notebooks, and you will get the extra work or extra homeworks to practice over the WhatsApp or the Google Classroom. Please watch the earlier videos of this chapter and complete the entire exercise